Alibaba has just released Qwen 3.8-Max. At 2.4 trillion parameters, the model requires rows of specialized hardware humming in high-security data centers just to operate. Until recently, the strategy for Chinese AI developers was simple: release highly capable, open-weight models for free to rapidly capture global market share. Developers all over the world took advantage. They downloaded the learned parameters and ran the technology inside their own local environments, bypassing the creators and paying nothing for the privilege. But the release of Qwen 3.8-Max comes with new commercial terms. The period of unrestricted free access is coming to an end. The initial push to grow the ecosystem has reached its conclusion. The industry is now entering a strict monetization phase. Historically, companies like Alibaba only made money on open-source AI if developers chose to run those models through the creator's proprietary cloud computing platforms. If a company hosted the model on its own internal servers, it bypassed those cloud costs entirely. This comparison shows the two approaches. On the left, closed-source models from U.S. companies maintain control through API access, where every query generates revenue. On the right, open-weight models allowed for a one-time download to a local server. To address this, Chinese AI creators are deploying commercial licenses to legally close the local hosting loophole. Alibaba's adoption of these terms mirrors the strategy at Moonshot, indicating that China's largest labs are converging on a shared business model. After successfully building a massive base of developers who now rely on these models, these creators are calling in the debt. The blueprint for this new economic reality was established by the Chinese AI startup Moonshot with their flagship model, Kimi K3. The underlying model remains available to download, but strict commercial conditions are now embedded directly into the license. This chart shows how the trap activates. If a company generates revenue using the AI as a service, and that revenue exceeds $20 million annually, the license triggers a negotiation requirement, legally stripping away free access for the developer. Under these new terms, Moonshot is demanding a revenue share of up to 30% from its heavy commercial users. U.S. infrastructure companies like DigitalOcean are already signing these commercial deals to optimize their deployments and maintain early access to future versions. The open-source approach successfully functioned as a freemium business model, converting high-earning users into captive paying partners. Alibaba is now applying the Moonshot playbook to their own upcoming models. The company is explicitly seeking a revenue share from the major commercial users of Qwen 3.8 nats. While the exact percentage remains under negotiation, Moonshot's 30% rate has set the expectations for the industry. Foreign enterprise companies now face a clear choice. They can surrender a significant cut of their revenue or lose access to these specific parameters. Alibaba's move scales this pricing model from a startup experiment into a requirement for major corporations using these tools. To see how these revenue-sharing models extract value, we have to look past the data centers and examine the consumer endpoints where the money is generated. Apple recently integrated Alibaba's Qwen into Mac Siri and writing tools for the Chinese market. Around the same time, American Express launched an AI-native credit card that rewards users with Moonshot Kimi computing credits instead of traditional cash back. Every consumer query on a laptop, phone, or credit card creates data that feeds directly into a centralized foundation model. Sitting at the bottom of the value chain, this model passively taxes the downstream applications built on top of it. AI developers have positioned themselves as the infrastructure layer of the modern digital economy. Creators have moved past the phase of using open-source releases primarily as promotional tools. Global brands must now budget for AI foundation models as a recurring utility cost, operating alongside electricity and cloud hosting. Technical capability in the Chinese market is no longer something foreign brands can own outright. It must be rented. The cost of digital intelligence is now a mandatory toll booth, turning AI capabilities into a permanent overhead for the global tech industry.